okay, thank you. How are you?
Not bad, not bad.
Good, good. I
Set my light up, but it's kind of like, it's not as bright as I thought. It seems to go dark.
oh,
Dark.
and you're a professional.
I know. Rubbish. Don't book
This,
me.
this is what happens when I interrupt your DIY.
Can I be honest? I've still got my morning coffee and I'm like, I'm not in DIY mode quite yet.
All right. I am also getting caffeinated. Well, it's decaf actually, but yeah.
Oh dear.
Wait, should we introduce ourselves?
Let's.
Hi, I'm Alexis. My pronouns are she, her. I have borderline personality disorder, and I'm a social media manager and copywriter.
Right there,
Shoot.
Exactly, literally shoot. I'm Catherine Berry. I'm entirely Catherine Photography, and I am a photographer for brands, small businesses, and awesome people who like to market themselves online. And yeah, that's me. I'm over here in the UK, in London, so I'm not too far. That's where mostly where my work is, but that's what I do. That's who I am.
Very good. And you're very good at it.
Well, thank you. So are you. So are you.
So when we were talking in the DMs, you said you would like to talk about how your sort of panic disorder has impacted your business and how you've had to sort of build a business around that so that you can work and, you know, build that business.
Exactly.
So tell me what that panic disorder is and how it affects you.
Okay, I'll take you back to a little bit at the beginning of my story because I'm now 43, so getting on a bit now. but for me, back in, gosh, when I was like 15, 16, I have this vivid memory of riding a bike. So there's no particular trauma in my life that's caused me these problems. It was just me riding my bike and going down this hill, and it was very fast and everything was happening very fast. And this panic sort of set in and this feeling overwhelmed me as I was riding. Anyway, that feeling kind of then started to come into different things, and that feeling never kind of left me, and it would happen every now and then. And obviously, as I started to learn to drive, I started to have this same panic feeling every now and then. It would just come over me, and at first, I kind of got that control of it, but not. It just became bigger and bigger and bigger, and then basically got to the point where there were times in my life where I've had to I've stopped driving really, or stopped doing certain driving. So I can do some local driving, but like if I go to I know lots of people have fears of motorways and that, but it's a bit different. The panic is different to a fear. It's you know, I'm not afraid of driving. I'm not afraid of going down that road. I'm just afraid of the panic happening. Yeah. So for me, I've had medication. I've had counselling over the years for various things, and I also had some CBT, which did help a little. But I think it's one of those things you need to revisit, and I probably do need to revisit again now. But that's okay, because what I've had to do is because I can't do the driving I want to be able to do, I've had to say, right, my business means I need to work in London. So I live just outside of London, but for me, a train journey, I can do a train journey. So that's what I do. I choose to do that. And although I kind of felt really frustrated and felt very guilty about not being able to do the driving and not being able to get to places very easily by driving, it's like, well, I'll replace that. You know, let's stop worrying about, take the pressure off, taking the pressure off myself and said, look, that's not going to happen. Let's not worry about it for now. You know, if one day I feel like I need to revisit it, I can revisit it, or I can try again, perhaps go back for some more CBT or something, then that will be fine, and I will do that. But for the time being, it works very well for me to say, right, I'm going to concentrate on London. I can say that I've come to London. I can get anywhere. I can get anywhere in London. I can get anywhere on a train. It's so easy, even going, north in the country. Not at the moment because it's coronavirus, but let's not mention that. But normally I could jump on a train. I could get to Cambridge. I could get to, I can get up to North, get to Newcastle. I could get anywhere. So. I went to Wales. I have a very lovely partner who also will drive me. If I really want to go somewhere else and we want to make a weekend of it, like he'll drive. So that's very kind. But it's not. I think it's partly the mindset for me is that don't let things stop. Don't let the things stop you. If you have something in your mental health that is causing a thing that you can't do, then don't worry. Just sort of work around it if you have to. I mean, address it. Don't. I was gonna say, don't kind of put it in that it's not. Recognize it for the issue that it is, but just work around it. Find ways. Be adaptable and don't be afraid of that. Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah. People don't realize things about me, Alexis, that because I'm quite bubbly, as you know, I'm kind of, I have like quite generally a really happy, well, I am a happy person. I'm a happy person. But people don't realize that I do suffer depression and I do have those things, and it's been hard over lockdown. Has been really hard. But my positive on the side of that as well is that social media, which is sometimes seen as the big baddie, you know, people you should avoid social media, you should get off of it, you know, well, like if you've got mental health issues, well, that's, I don't necessarily agree with that line. I do agree you should be mindful of who you're interacting with, mindful of all those things, and I'm sure your next guest, your interview on Facebook is going to go through all that sort of thing, you know. But for me, it's like having connection to people and keeping a little bit of normality in my life, because my work is surrounded by social media and marketing online and interacting with people. If I stopped doing that, I would just, it would be bad for me. So I need to keep my interactions, and I need to be able to see face-to-face people. I need to be able to, you know, when I say face-to-face, I mean like this. This is good for me. This is good.
Yeah.
Sort of, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah. I mean, on the point about sort of working around your mental illness, that is something that I feel really passionate about as well, because when I first started working, I got really caught up in the sort of, you have to do it the way everybody else is doing it. You have to do it in a neurotypical way. And I can't. I just can't. It's not going to happen. And it's been so helpful to me to sort of let go of that and just be like, no, if I can do the job, that's what mattered. It doesn't matter how I get to that point. I can have a load of systems in place. I can do it in different ways. I don't have to do it in the same way everyone else is doing. Yeah, exactly that. I think, you know,
it's just taking that pressure off yourself, isn't it? And saying, look, I am the way I am. I have this thing that I live with. It's a bit like, you know, like people can, obviously, we always say, you know, mental health and an actual sickness, let's say, you know, had an actual sickness, a physical sickness that was actually tangible. You know, if you had a tangible illness that you had to deal with all the time, you know, you would deal with it, and you would, you know, if you had one leg, let's say, or let's say that's not an illness, but you know, if you had disability of some description that meant you couldn't do whatever it was that you wanted to do, or you were trying to adapt to it, you find ways around. And it's the same with mental illness, I think, as well. You know, you just have to adapt, and you have to, you know, try and find resourceful ways of working with it, and don't let that hold you back, because it is hard. It's not easy. But it's you know, and also, you know, another thing I kind of wanted to go through my mind. I had a chat with someone yesterday, actually, about mental illness, and we were talking about different things, and this person had a bigger story than me. Like I say, a bigger story. She had more trauma in her life, and was there more reasons for her mental illness, behind her mental illness. You know, for me, I'm like, well, I haven't got a story like that. I haven't got a trauma that caused my mental illness. But I want to sort of say to people, it's still valid to say, look, I have still got a mental illness. You know, it feels like you almost have to have, like, well, I've had this happen to me in my life, and people that, you know, there are still people with just like us, just ordinary people who are just we've just got things that go on in our life, and we don't talk about it all the time, or it's not something, you know, but it's not something to be afraid of, and you can still be a human being and do human being things. You know. The trauma point is really interesting, because there is a lot now, a lot of the talk around mental illness is about the trauma that causes it. And there are, like you say, it is an illness. It can just happen. There doesn't need to be this big traumatic event that sets it off. Sometimes it just happens. Like any other illness, you can just have it. Yes.
So yeah, there definitely needs to be more talk about people who don't have that trauma and who are still living with a mental illness of some description.
Yeah, I think so, because I think otherwise we're sort of in danger of stigmatizing that mental illness is only something you have when you have a trauma, and then and trying to sort of almost creating another problem on top of the problem on top of the problem.
Yeah.
People are starting to become more aware of mental illness, but we don't want to start making it feel like it's a bigger thing than that. And everyone, like I think you said it in one of our messages, everyone has something somewhere that they've got, that they're dealing with, and the mental illness is a very big, broad, strange world, but
yeah
it's okay though. It's I feel like I want to make it a happy place. You know what I mean? I want to see everyone sees mental illness as being sad. I think there's kind of very negative connotations, and I'd love to sort of feel like I could say, look, it's okay. It's a happy thing. It's okay. It's okay. I don't know how to do that. I don't want to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's sort of it's not promoted, but it's talked about a lot as if it's this horrific thing that you suffer with, and that's all it is suffering.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of really, really shit things to it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are bits that aren't so bad, and there are periods of time where you feel okay and you can interact with the world like a normal human being or whatever. And yeah, so I think some of that, actually one of the things my therapist said to me when I first started working with her was basically, she was like, you are not, your entire life isn't your mental illness. There is more to you and to your life than that. And you are allowed to not think about it all the time. You are allowed to not suffer all the time. Yeah. And I was like, oh,
like a relief.
What?
Yeah.
Do you mean it?
Yeah.
So that was, but I think a lot of, and in the mental health profession, I think there's a lot of, if you're not suffering, then you're not really mentally ill. So it sort of perpetuates that.
Right. Yeah. Which is my worry about that kind of trauma, and they're looking for that, and I don't. That's not necessarily the case. It's just there.
Yeah.
No, and there's a difference between. I know there's a difference between feeling sad and when I'm depressed, and I know there's a difference between fear and a panic. It's different. So yeah. I think it's important that people recognise that whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that you are experiencing, there is like a happy side to it, because you just live around it, you work with it, like any illness, you just work with it, and go with it. So yes, therefore it is all normal. We are all normal. It's okay. we are okay. Maybe
normal-ish.
Well, yesterday again having this conversation, it was we're all a bit wonky or something, and I said, well, I'm a proper zigzag, so
Yeah, and I think coming back to social media as well, it's social media, I mean, for me obviously has been really important for my business, but I think it's really important as well for giving you that community, because you can connect much easier to other people who are going through what you're going through or something different, but they have that compassion because they're going through something as well. And I think that's really helpful as well, to sort of chat to people and be like, oh, you're crazy too. And sort of have that connection of like, oh, it's not just me. It's not just me. Other people are figuring this out as they go too. Other people are trying to run businesses and live their lives with this stuff too. Yeah. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think it's love. I mean, I'm really, really grateful for you setting these chats up, Alexis. Like being able to chat and be out and like open about mental health and say, look, I have this problem too. It's this. I don't often get an opportunity really to say about it. I probably should find more opportunities, but it's so good that that you've done this, because I know that somebody reached out yesterday and we had chat, and so it's like wow, you know, the conversations that I didn't know were going to happen will happen because of this conversation, and I think that's really great, and that I'm really
Yeah.
grateful for you. Thank you very much for.
It's all right. It's something that's really important to me. And actually, we are being listened to on somebody's dog walk. So I hope you're enjoying your dog walk. Dog walking. You know how many people have sort of shared the, I don't know if you've seen the Mind Stories post, which suggests like one thing that you can do to support your mental health. So many people have been like, walk the dog, play with the dog. It's like, yeah, dogs are healing.
There's a post that goes round about have you seen it about be more like a dog?
Oh, I've not seen that. No.
I'll have to dig it out for you, Alexis, and you'll love it, and you'll probably want to share it with everyone. But yeah, I'll try and find it for you. It's really like, you know, be more patient, be more. Just the dog is like so relaxed and like,
yeah.
Have your belly rubbed every now and then, that kind of thing.
And yes, walking with or without a dog, that is very true. Get a bit of fresh air.
Absolutely.
Be careful at the moment.
yeah. Careful which direction you breathe it in. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you say then that social media has helped you to run your business as a way to work around your mental illness?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Because in terms of just networking, you know, being able to go out and socially network, yes, I can in my very local area, but it would be very limiting if I couldn't, because I've not been able to drive to certain places. You know, it would be very limiting if I didn't have the ability to network online, you know, and social media and reaching out very quickly to people, whereas it would just be a nightmare to have to rely. And so I've totally worked around it, and I think, you know, it's just okay. I can get on with my life. I can run a business, a full business. You know, I have this annoying, frustrating bit of mental health stuff that goes on that I can't go out and drive my car without having a panic attack, which is so frustrating. But you know, I can deal with that. It's not there. It's not an issue. It can be left on the shelf, and I can just carry on and do everything that I need to do via social media, via Zoom, via, you know, this beautiful technology that exists. And, you know, I think people should. I'd like to. I know it's important, and I know that young people's minds are being very affected by being constantly on social media, but that is a slightly different thing to us as adults, you know, who are using it for our business, who are using it to connect with people, and who are socializing and making friends, you know. You know, it's so lovely. The more I sort of get to converse and build, like you said, about communities online and trying to, you know, chat with people in the chats and things, you know, you get to know people and you become friends, and it's yeah, it would be a very lonely world for me without social media, I think. So, yeah.
It is. I think, yeah, there is a lot of good to it, and like you said earlier, there are a lot, especially now. There's a lot of talk about the dangers of social media and how awful it is and that kind of thing. But I think it's important to have those conversations at the same time as realizing that there are positives to it. It is really supportive for a lot of people. It allows a lot of people to work and have social lives and all that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
That they just it wouldn't be possible for them if it didn't exist.
No, exactly. And I think it is just about being mindful about who you interact with. And I think recognizing as quickly as you can anything that does impact you negatively, and you just want to feel, you know, I always try and think, like, the weekends for me, on my social media, I tend to try not to do too much business stuff, but more like something happy, something nice, something, you know, share a nice thought, or remember to be kind, and just trying to lift people up. So, you know, looking for people that might do things like that will just make you feel good, give you a little bit of like, you know, keep yourself, keeping yourself positive and interacting with the right people, I think is important.
Yeah.
And that goes for business too. I think if you are, you know, you are polite and all your lovely values that go with your business, Alexis, yeah, like that, you're looking for people who are like you. Yeah, is only going to be positive, isn't it? I think for us. So it's yeah. That's our tips.
It's being self-aware, isn't it? It's knowing what bothers you. I mean, I've noticed recently that obviously I follow a lot of other social media managers. And I've noticed that a lot of the time when I see their posts, it triggers a lot of sort of comparison in me, and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing the other, they're better than me.
Yeah.
And so I've noticed that, and I'm like, well, their stuff is awesome, but I don't have to see it. It's okay for me not to see it.
Yeah.
Because that's not helpful for me.
Yeah.
So it's really important to just be aware of what bothers you, what sets off thought processes in you that aren't helpful.
Yeah. And replacing it with the fact that you are doing something that they're not doing, I imagine,
Yeah, that's really,
you'll probably think, well, actually, I'm not doing that thing because I'm actually doing these things, which are really important for my business,
Yeah. And we're serving different people in that as well. It's yeah,
absolutely. Exactly. You're not after those same people. So it's just, say after. It sounds a bit like I'm chasing people. Like a Benny Hill sketch or something.
Work with me. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. It's okay. It's all.
Well, it was lovely to talk to you.
Alexis, thank you. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you would like to say before we disappear and finish our coffees?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, for starters. And
no, thank you.
I'm going to tune in. It's Facebook, isn't it?
Facebook at midday.
At midday. I'll be tuning in to Facebook at midday, so to have a listen. That's awesome. Thank you. Anyone who needs a photographer, look me up. I'm just outside London. I travel very well into London on trains, very well.
And follow Catherine. She has tons of amazing tips for like what you need in photos and how to take your own photos and how to choose a photographer, and she does amazing stuff on social media.
Doing a whole load of I'm doing a whole load of lives. I'm going to be doing a live with people this next couple of weeks. I've got some guests coming in to do brand shoot preparations, and I've got a lady who's talking about style tips and what to wear and not to wear.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I've got a lady talking about hair. So I'm going to.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a really good idea.
A shoot thing.
Very good. So lots of exciting things happening on social media. Hooray,
Absolutely.
social media.
And it's going to be a happy thing to be joining in and listening to, so come along.
Very good. I will be tuning in for those.
Oh, absolutely you will, I'm sure. With your cup of coffee, 12 GMT, decaf coffee, obviously. Monday's the first one.
Monday, oh, very good. I can do Monday. Okay, I will put it in my diary. Tune in. Well, it has been very lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for getting in touch and being like, hey, I want to talk about this.
I hope it's help. I hope it sort of will resonate with anyone who watches the replay, who will just actually feel like they've got something out of it. So that's important.
I'm sure it will. I think it helps to just see people talk about it a lot of the time. I know when in the sort of early days when I was sort of coming to terms with my mental illness, that was the really important thing for me. It was like seeing other people talk about it and not in a sad way, like you say, just talk about it and be like, this is my reality, and that's okay.
Yeah. We're all in this together. Yeah. That's it. It's good.
So on that note, we're all in this together. So on that lovely note, I will leave you to your DIY and your coffee.
Oh, thank you.